Most Christians, when we hear the stories about how Israel worshipped other gods in the Bible, we are quick to condemn them. We read about idols, pagan temples, and false gods, and we ask, how could God's own people do something like that? How could people who saw miracles still turn away from God? But if we slow down and look closely, the story of Israel may be more relevant to us than we think. Because today, many believers don't bow to statues of wood or stone. Yet in subtle ways, certain things in our lives have slowly taken the place that belongs to God. So instead of only condemning Israel, maybe their story is meant to warn us. Because sometimes the idols of today don't look like ancient gods, but they can still control our hearts in the same way. One of the most well-known false gods Israel followed was Baal. In the ancient world, people believed Baal controlled the rain and the storms. And in a farming society, rain meant everything. Rain meant crops. Crops meant food. And food meant survival. So when drought came, many Israelites turned away from God and began worshiping Baal, believing he could give them the security they needed. But the Bible records a powerful moment when the prophet Elijah confronted the prophets of Baal. A challenge was set on a mountain. Both sides would call on their God, and whichever God answered with fire would prove to be real. The prophets of Baal cried out for hours. They shouted, they prayed, but nothing happened. Then Elijah prayed to the true God, and fire fell from heaven. In that moment, it became clear that Israel had trusted the wrong source for their security. But if we are honest, many people today fall into the same trap. Only the modern version of Baal often looks like money. People believe that if they earn enough, save enough, and build enough wealth, their lives will finally feel secure. Money itself is not evil. But when money becomes the thing we trust more than God, it quietly takes its place. Just like Baal once did. Another dark god mentioned in the Bible was Molech. This was one of the most disturbing forms of idol worship in the ancient world. People believed that if they sacrificed their children to Molech, they could gain prosperity, protection, or favor from the gods. It was a horrifying practice that showed how far people were willing to go in pursuit of success and blessing. And throughout Israel's history, God strongly condemned this practice. It represented a tragic moment where people valued prosperity more than the lives of their own children. Today, most people would never imagine doing something so extreme. But the spirit behind it still exists. Because many people still sacrifice what matters most for the sake of success. Families are ignored. Time with loved ones disappears. Faith becomes secondary, all in the pursuit of money, status, or achievement. And sometimes even our constant attachment to our phones slowly steals the time we could spend with God or the people around us. Different form, but the same principle. When success, ambition, or constant distraction becomes more important than God and the people He placed in our lives, something has taken its place. The story of Israel's false gods is not just about ancient history. It is a warning about the human heart. Because the truth is, idols rarely appear in obvious forms. They often begin as good things. Money. Like Israel, people are willing to make sacrifices for what they value most. Some betray friends. Some compromise principles. Some even allow relationships to break, all for the pursuit of more money. The Bible warns us about idols, not because they are old-fashioned, but because the heart that worships them will slowly turn for what is true, good, and eternal. Money is a tool. Money is a blessing. But when it becomes the thing we serve, it becomes a false god. It can lead to betrayal. It can destroy friendships. It can blind us to what really matters. Like Israel turning to Baal for survival or sacrificing to Molech for favor, Christians today can make the same mistake with money. We pursue it at all costs, even at the cost of loyalty, even at the cost of honesty, even at the cost of relationships God placed in our lives. The question is simple. Who or what sits at the center of your heart? Because whatever we treat as ultimate, we worship. And God was never meant to share His place with money or anything else.